Hey guys, this is Ray the Messenger, and in today's video I will talk to you about overcoming video game addiction, and I will also tell you my own personal story about how I overcame video game addiction so you can do the same thing in your life, because I know that especially right now there are a lot of people struggling with the same issue that I had back in the day. So let's start right into this video. If you like this video, put a like on it, put a comment on it, subscribe to my channel. I will soon put out more content for you guys because I know that you guys love the content. Now let's start off with my own personal story of how I overcame video game addiction, and then later on we will talk about how you can adapt that into your life and how you can overcome your video game addiction, or maybe you can tell some friends of yours who have a video game addiction how they can overcome the same issue. So it all started out for me when I was approximately 11 years old. When I was 11 years old, my parents bought me the first PlayStation. It was the original PlayStation 1, and I still remember to this day I had, I think, one video game on it. It was the Lilo and Stitch video game. I don't know if you guys remember the PlayStation 1 Lilo and Stitch video game. That video game was so addictive. I played that for like 5 hours straight every single day. My parents had to take the PlayStation 1 away from me. I hid it in one of their closets, so I can't go and play Lilo and Stitch all day, because of course they wanted me to go to school and get good grades, as all parents want, hopefully. And then later on, when I got older, so when I became like 13 or 12 years old, sometime around that, I got my own computer, so I got my own laptop, and then it started out with the video games on the laptop at the beginning, and then also I got the PlayStation 2. So I went straight up from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2, and on the PlayStation 2 I had all kinds of different games, and they were all extremely addictive. For example, I also played GTA San Andreas, the classic GTA game. I bet all of you guys played that at one point or another, maybe even played the newer version, and that game got me hooked. I was so addicted to that game. I played the whole story. I went around and basically always did different things inside of GTA, the things you do inside of GTA. You can imagine what I did. And then I played every single day, multiple hours a day. My parents couldn't handle it. They were just like, okay, you know what, you're not going to play anymore. And my father destroyed the PlayStation, so that was basically it with the PlayStation. I couldn't play any more games on it. Up until that point, I played a lot of different games. And then from that point on, the video game addiction that I started to develop, because the thing with the video game addiction, guys, is that in the beginning it creeps up. So it starts out relatively harmless. In the beginning you're like, oh, I'm just going to play a little bit, I'm just going to play this game. These games are all really genius, because they all implement systems of psychology that are implemented into the games in order to hook you. So all these games have different reward mechanisms. For example, when you are in GTA, for example, and you would accomplish a mission, you get money. You kill people and then you steal their money. That's all little rewards that are implemented in all of these games. Or even if you go back to games like Gran Turismo, I don't know if any of you guys played that game, Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 2, I think. In that game you raced against AI. So there were different enemies of yours, and competitors who wanted to win the race, and you also wanted to win the race. So that's a real big incentive for you to win the race. And this is the way all these games are structured. Or even if we go back to one of my favorite games of all time, the Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. Inside of that game, I love that game still to this day, but it's extremely addictive, because in every single game you have kits that you can collect. So for example, you can collect 10 kits and then you have a mission, because your brain always focuses on a single goal that you want to achieve. So for example, if you tell your brain, oh, I want to achieve this, then your brain will focus on achieving that goal. After you achieve that goal, your brain will release dopamine. So your brain will release positive hormones inside your system, and then you will get addicted to the video games. I'm not a psychology major, but it approximately works that way. So you do something, you accomplish something, and your brain thinks, oh, I've accomplished something, but in reality you didn't actually accomplish anything from great significance. Of course it's awesome to play video games and of course it's awesome to win things inside the video games, but at the end of the day it has no impact on your real life. So your brain thinks you just won something, so maybe you're going to get food, or maybe you're going to get some sexual relations, but in the end of the day you are going to get nothing, because it's a video game. So you basically just won something inside the video game. Now let's get back to the story. So I was 14 years old approximately, and then I transitioned over to playing on my computer. And this is where things got extremely out of hand. So I was still at school. I really wasn't learning anything at school. I really wasn't paying attention, and I didn't get I got good grades, but I didn't get the best grades because I didn't ever learn. I just went to school, and I was thinking, when I was inside of school, I was thinking, oh, when I get home, I'm going to play this new video game, or I'm going to get better inside that video game. And this got especially worse for me when I transitioned from the single player games over to the multiplayer games. So when there was actual competition and other people that I can beat inside the game, that was something that triggered my brain. I subconsciously, of course, because at that moment I didn't know what that actually meant. I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to play the game and beat everybody inside the game. So I started playing 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day. And at that point I was almost completely lost. My parents realized that, of course, so they also started to take my computer away and hide it somewhere, but I always found it. So that was basically it. So I started playing a lot of video games every single day, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. Sometimes when I wasn't going to school, it went up to 10 hours. I remember that was even when I was like 16, 17, 18 years old. I remember I went to one of my friends, and that's, by the way, the same one of the same toxic friends that I've talked about in another video. If you haven't watched that video, check it out, it's on my channel. It was Frank. So I went to Frank's house and we played 24 hours in one session, or 48 hours in one session. We were just addicted to the games. We played the whole night. We didn't even realize that the time went away that fast, because we started playing and then all of a sudden it was in the morning. So we started the other day at noon, and then later on it was morning, and it went even crazier, and it went longer, and it went more hours. And that time I didn't realize how unhealthy that actually is for your brain, because your brain, the more you play the video game, the more addicted you're going to get to the video game, because it's the only thing that you do and the only thing that gets you pleasure. And when you play these games, that's the really important part. When you play these games, it's not enough to go to the first level. You need to go to the next level, because let's say you're playing a game where your whole mission is to kill some minions. Then at the beginning you start out, maybe you kill some weak minions that have no power, and then you think, oh, this game is boring, and then all of a sudden there's a new enemy, and that enemy is even stronger. Maybe that enemy has a sword, and then you're like, oh, I need to kill this enemy, this is like a way stronger enemy. And then you kill that enemy, and then you think, oh, this game is a little bit boring, I've already killed these guys with the swords. And then there's the next guy, and this guy is like an orc, and he has a big battle axe, and then you're like, oh my god, I need to kill this orc. You understand how this thing is going, right? It gets even bigger and more and more. And the same is with the competitive video games. For example, a game that I was also addicted to, Battlefield 3. Really great game. If you haven't played the game, I feel sorry for you. I feel sad for you. When I played that game, it was crazy. I was playing that game, and then in the beginning you were step 1. So I think you're private. Then you get to the next stage, and then at one point you get commander, and then you get commander level 42, and then in the end, that's the thing you wanted to be. There's like the golden star super commander who had like 100. There was the 100 number. The guy had a golden eagle and 5 stars. That's what you wanted to be, the general, the 5-star commander general. In order to get that, by the way, you had to probably play thousands of hours. I think it was thousands of hours in order to get that, and that was the incentive. That was the in-game incentive. And you always want to improve your KDA. So these are the KDA is the kill-death ratio inside of the game, for all of you who don't play video games. So these games, they're really hooking you. And at that point, when I was addicted, the only thing that really helped me get outside of my addiction was at one point I realized, and this was just a personal realization for me, I need to stop, or I need to play a little bit less, or I need to put it under control. So let's say you start out, okay, you play 10 hours every single day. Okay, so the first thing you will do is, okay, you know what? I will try to play 8 hours. And then also going into that with the 8 hours, try to also separate yourself more from people who play 10 hours a day. All of your friends, the only thing you guys do is sit at home and play 10 hours a day of video games. Then you need to find new friends, because those friends, they're not helpful. They will not help you get outside of the addiction. If you want to change your mind and the addiction, because the addiction on the end of the day is connected to your brain. So your brain is forcing you to go into that addiction. Even if you really think, oh, this time is going to be different, your mind tells you it's not going to be different. So you need to withstand the addiction and start out with small steps. Smaller steps will get you closer to the goal. So when you play 10 hours, play 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, and then at one point you can say to yourself, you know what, I'm only going to play 1 day a week. All the other days inside of the week I'm I'm not going to play a single game. That's the way, by the way, I'm handling it. Because I know for myself, if I play a game every single day, I'm going to get addicted. There's no other way. I know that I have a strong tendency towards video game addiction because I just love the games. I mean, you can understand it. I love the games. That's why I have a strong tendency to get addicted to those games. That's why I told myself, you know what? I really love the video games, but I'm going to do it in a healthy way. And that's the thing I want for you guys. I don't want you guys to sit every single day playing 8 hours a day. Try to limit the number you play, and then in the end of the day be like, you know what? I'm just going to play one day a week for a couple hours. Or maybe if you can handle it, 1 hour or 2 hours every single day. But I wouldn't recommend that because for me personally, I can't handle that. I cannot sit there and play 1 or 2 hours of a game because I will get addicted. That's just me personally. I know it. And that's why you need to start out putting less time into the video games and try to slowly ease up, and also find other things that are interesting for your own life. Try to do some other things. Try to put yourself into your work, or maybe go outside, do some workouts, do some push-ups, do some pull-ups, do the good stuff. Try to find other things. Talk to new people. Find new friends that don't just sit around at home and play video games, because in the end of the day, these games will have a massively negative impact. Now, if this video did help you, if this actually helped you, try to implement it today. Say, you know what, tomorrow or today I'm going to implement it. Put it on, write it down, and then actually stick to it. Stick to the things you write down. This week I'm going to play X hours of video games, not 1 second more. You need to put a timer on it, write it down, and then next week you're going to put even less hours. Where then you need to come at a point where you feel like, you know what, I'm not addicted anymore. I can ease up a little bit. I can play 1 hour or 3 hours or 2 hours at one day inside 1 week. So it needs to be all in control, because the definition of addiction is out of control. If you can't control yourself playing video games, you're addicted. That's it's just as simple as that. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any more questions for me, you can write some comments. I will answer them. And I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked the video, put a like on it, put a comment on it, subscribe to my channel. I will put out more great content. Yeah, until next time, have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.